Revelations chapter 5. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne, and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain, and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred, tongue, and people, and nation. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Now as Jesus went out and departed from the temple, his disciples went to show him the buildings of the temple. Now Jesus tells them that the temple they are showing him will be destroyed, not one stone left upon another. His disciples then ask him 3 specific questions. Number 1, when would the temple be destroyed? Number 2, what would be the sign of his coming? And number 3, what would be the sign of the end of the world? Now let's take a look at how Jesus responds to these questions. In Matthew chapter 24, verse 4 and 5, Jesus says, it reads, And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Now if we turn over to the 7 seals in the book of Revelations, we're going to notice that the things that Jesus is speaking of in response to the 3 questions of the end of the world, that they line up accordingly with the 7 seals in the book of Revelations. So we turn to Revelations chapter 6, verse 1 and 2. It reads, And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. So we see Jesus speaks in Matthew chapter 24 about a deception that's going to take place at the end times. Here in Revelations chapter 6, we notice there is a rider of a white horse, that he has a bow, but he has no arrows, and that a crown is given unto him. Well, we know in Revelations chapter 19 that Jesus Christ will return with the saints riding on a white horse, but he will have many crowns on his head, for he has already received them. We know that the rider of this white horse in Revelation chapter 6 is an imitator of Christ. He will be the Antichrist. As the Middle East, Palestine, Israel, Iran, Jordan, Lebanon, as the Middle East intensifies and gets worse. It will come to a point where there will need to be action taken from a country outside of the Middle East. It will be at this time that the Antichrist will come on the scene, and he will make a two-state solution in Israel, and he will put into effect a 7-year peace treaty. This will be the Antichrist. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Okay, the second thing that Jesus tells his disciples in response to the 3 questions they asked him concerning the end of the world, in Matthew chapter 24, verse 6 and 7, first part of 7, it reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." Now, if we take a look back in Revelations, again at the 7 seals, we'll notice that the second seal matches up exactly with the second thing Jesus told his disciples of concerning the end of the world. In Revelations chapter 6, verse 3 and 4, it reads, "When he opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, 'Come and see.' And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword." Now you see here that the rider of the red horse was given power to take peace from the earth. And look what Jesus is saying in Matthew 24, 6 and 7. "You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, that nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." So you see that the Antichrist appears on the world scene and causes a 7-year peace treaty in Israel, a 2-state solution in Israel. He comes in the name of peace, riding a white, innocent-looking, pure horse. Soon after he mesmerizes the world by his achievements of peace, his ministry turns from an innocent white to a bloodshed red. This is when the Antichrist takes peace from the earth and causes nation to rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. He's further showing his true nature. He comes in innocent, a man of peace, and now his nature is showing a man of war and of bloodshed. And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." Okay, the next thing Jesus tells his disciples in response to the 3 questions concerning the end of the world, in Matthew chapter 24, verse 7b, the last part of 7, it reads, "And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these things are the beginning of sorrows." Now this is the 3rd thing he states to his disciples. Now let's take a look at the book of Revelations again. Revelations chapter 6, the 3rd seal. Revelations chapter 6, verse 5 and 6, it reads, "And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, 'Come and see.' And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So we see here again that these line up accordingly. It starts off in Matthew 24 saying there will be famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. Well, here in the 3rd seal, we have the Antichrist, who started off his ministry as riding a white horse and of a man of peace. It then turns into a bloodshed red color, into a red horse, as he reveals more of his nature, that he is a man of war and not of peace. And here his horse is now turning into charcoal black, as famine has taken the earth, and by his one world currency and microchip, he controls the food throughout the world. And when you hear in Revelation chapter 6, a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny, this will be the wages for man upon the earth. You will work to get just enough to stay alive, just enough for enough of a meal to keep you alive to work another day. And when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Okay, now the 4th thing Jesus tells his disciples, in response to the questions they asked him concerning the end of the world, can be found in Matthew chapter 24, verses 9 through 16. And it reads, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. If we then turn to Revelation chapter 6, verse 7 and 8, and we take a look at the 4th seal being opened, we will see that again, these correlate. 1 through 7 of Jesus' responses in Matthew correlate exactly to the 7 seals being opened in the book of Revelations chapter 6. Revelations chapter 6, verse 7 and 8, it reads, and when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So we have the Antichrist appearing on the world scene as a man of peace, causing a peace treaty in Israel for 7 years, along with a 2-state solution. And after mesmerizing the world with his achievements of peace, his horse turns into a bloodshed red. He now starts taking the earth with violence, revealing his true nature as a man of war. And after he achieves this, he then implements his one world currency. And as the natural famines of the earth rage, he then controls the world's food and dispenses this food as a day's wages for men upon the earth. Next, his horse mixes all of its colors, mixes white red, and black, and turns into a pale horse. And you'll notice here that he is now at the bottom of Revelations chapter 6, verse 7 and 8, where it says, "And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword," there's the red horse, "with hunger," there is the black horse, and with death, we have the pale horse. We have the white, the red mixed with the black, and now he is riding a pale horse. His full nature as the devil is now revealed as he rides the pale horse. This is when he will be killing those who do not conform to his ministry, to his ideology. All three horses are now mixed into the pale horse. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Okay, the fifth thing Jesus tells his disciples in Matthew chapter 24, verses 21 and 22. It reads, For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Now we take a look in Revelations chapter 6, verse 9 through 11. It corresponds exactly with this great tribulation. It reads, And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them which were slain for the word of God and for the testimony for which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Now this is the Antichrist, his full nature revealed as he rides that pale horse. Death and hell following behind him. For all those that took the mark of the beast, he is now taking the world, the rest of the world over by violence. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Okay, the sixth thing that Jesus tells his disciples in response to their three questions concerning the end of the world. Now in Matthew chapter 24, verse 29 through 30, the sign of his coming, he reveals to them what will take place with the sun, the moon, and the stars that should signal the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And as we have just read Revelations chapter 6, verse 12 and 17, the opening of the sixth seal goes exactly according to the sixth thing Jesus tells his disciples in Matthew chapter 24. This is the beginning of the unveiling of Jesus Christ being unveiled to the entire earth as the Messiah and as God. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of a half an hour. Okay, the seventh and last thing Jesus tells his disciples in response to their questions concerning the end of the world in Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. It reads, "But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only." And as we can see in Revelations chapter 8, verse 1, the seventh seal, it reads, "And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of a half hour." So we see the Antichrist comes on the white horse, a man of peace. His horse turns into a bloodshed red as he reveals his true nature as a man of war. And after he takes over the world by force, he then controls the world's money and food as his horse turns into a dark charcoal black as famine and pestilence go through the entire earth. And if you mix white, red, and black, you get the pale horse. And as we have shown, he is then killing by the sword, by famine, by death, and by the beasts of the earth.
I'm wondering. I'm wondering, is there still hope for the hopeless? And if heartbeat in your chest spell little change for the homeless? Man with his kids shaking his cup in your face. Is there any type of godliness still left in this place? Is there any hope left for the hopeless fiend? All he got left in his life is his pipe and his dreams. Only the Lord hears his pain in the night when he screams. Got caught up living a life that was not what it seems. Is there any hope left for the hopeless alcoholic? Every time she pass a pub, she can hear the bottle calling. Got you sick enough to believe the more you spend, the more you're balling. Only the Lord can get you lifted, but the devil be keeping you falling. Spiritual tug of war, internally brawling. We gotta keep running against the wind. There really ain't no time for stalling. And you know how it goes in this cold, sad world. Hold my hand, I'ma take you for a ride with me, girl.
Hope for the hopeless.
The forgotten, unforgiven, living overcrowded prisons with the thought of being free. The only thing to keep them driven, only to discover later they've been tricked from the beginning. The educated profit from the suffering and sinning, and the world keeps spinning while the sun keeps burning. Do we close their eyes while the wise keep learning? Now the youth base their worth on the rate that they earning. It's the blind leading the blind, so it ain't even concerning. Got kids raising kids, rising STDs. Put a man on the moon, but can't cure a disease. Babies dying overseas for college degrees. Political pawns put in position, protecting religious extremes. I ain't Martin Luther King, but I too have a dream to live in a world that hasn't been as corrupted as me. I ain't Martin Luther King, but I too have a dream to live in a world where God's the only ruler I see.